What is going on, Cyberfam? We're just gonna address something real quick here. Maybe just make a quick short video on this, okay? Is Palantir a consulting company? I almost want to laugh just talking about this, really. It's kind of funny, right? Because I understand part of the argument. Most of it is just garbage, but I understand some of it. Now, I'm gonna address what that really means, okay? I personally am a consultant, so I know exactly what these guys are talking about. Now, the smart argument for this is that they're saying Palantir is a consulting company because they have to send these 4 deployed engineers. Now, Dave Lee actually made a good point on this. It's not right, but he asked Jackson from Palantir Vision, our guy, about this exact question. And I think Jackson actually did a really good job of explaining it. But, you know, for some reason, people thought that, you know, it was a bad explanation or something. It wasn't. The truth is, right, the argument is these guys deployed these forward engineers to go and actually install the software, right? And do some sort of integrations and stuff like that. And the competitors like Snowflake or whatever, you can just go on the cloud or wherever their offerings are and download it, and then you're up and running. The thing is, though, this isn't exactly true. Okay, now, yes, they do have those forward deployed engineers where they go to sites on site and actually do some work there. But on this one point itself, from my experience, I have not sat in a meeting. I have not onboarded a single piece of software, including some of these cloud-based like provider softwares like Salesforce and all these other things, where there has not been an engineering team or a small group of engineers present in that meeting. There's not been one. There has been some where we download some stuff, some freeware, well, not freeware, but download some like some offerings that they might have given us or something through like a shared drive. And we download it, we basically use it to a small degree. What this is, though, you have like a test. Anytime you're trying to do some sort of like prospecting for any software, right? You have like a test database usually. Good companies will have some kind of test or mock data, right? So they basically mock potentially like a scenario from your production environment, okay? This mock data is not real, it's fake. It's just all like, you know, copy paste of like really old stuff or just fake stuff, right? You put this fake stuff as very simply as possible. Like it's the most simple representation of your data. You're not going to take your full data set, of course. You take that and you try to run it on these free things, right? Or on the offering that they give you as a preliminary offering, for example, right? Even in that case, most of the time it doesn't work properly. It's just how it is. Unless it is exactly built for your case, your use case, it's not going to work out of the box. This is exactly why people have engineering teams go into these meetings and actually talk. Why they had me sit there and talk about integrations and stuff in some of the places I've worked at. Let's get that out of the picture. Secondly, I understand the point where they're saying, okay, these guys are basically going and installing a very customized piece of software, right? It's customized to whatever that company does. Let me ask you something. What piece of software isn't customized to some degree? Anyone? Come on. Unless you're talking about some kind of consumer product where it applies to a broad range of like users, any enterprise software is going to be in some degree customized. Okay, I'm just telling you straight up. Even if we go with the most bare bones license from any other provider, it's going to be customized to some degree. There's going to be branding, there's going to be some like data work that needs to be like resolved and pipelines and all this kind of stuff. So I understand the argument, but let me actually take it to this side. So on the consulting side, when they talk about customized software, Palantir is not doing that. Let me explain to you what that is. So in my previous role, there was an application. It was a homegrown application combined with Salesforce and combined with, I think, SAP and some other enterprise applications, okay? My job was to write a piece of software, actually multiple pieces of software, that basically ran through this kind of architecture that communicated to all of these other pieces throughout the organization, okay? This is highly customized. Like it was me and maybe 4 other guys. We basically wrote all the microservices to talk to all different sort of APIs and all these things. And we made like a UI, like a front end, like a website where these guys can actually go and manage their stuff. Like this was a fully custom built product, okay? It took us, I think, 1.5 years to do this kind of stuff. So, and it still wasn't that great. It was just okay, okay? Franklin, if you're watching, software is great, man. Just keep using it. No, in all seriousness, there were some flaws for sure. And you're gonna have this kind of stuff, but, and this is the thing, right? When you build something homegrown from absolute scratch, from like no code at all, you're going to come across these kind of issues. That's why a lot of enterprise companies actually go with software, like they buy it from vendors instead of just building it themselves, right? Because they don't want to waste the time or money to hire us consultants or do it themselves. Now, we actually had experience in the space, so the product actually is still being used and it's being used well. But The thing is, this is a highly customized product. Like every piece of it is customized, right? And the reason for this is a lot of these companies, they don't want to, like, they already have existing stuff that they want to continue using, but they don't want to go away from it too much. They just want stuff to work. Like a lot of these companies have a lot of departments and stuff, right? So they want one piece of thing to talk to another. In this case, these guys were using Excel sheets. It was terrible. So we wrote the software to actually be able to transfer some of the data pipelines over from this side, massage it a little bit so it made more sense to this side, to the finance side, for example, to do like accounts receivables and stuff. So that was really the point of that. But Palantir doesn't do that. They don't sit there and look at your org and say, okay, we're going to completely remodel Foundry for you. That's not what they do. Foundry stays as its main core piece. Parts of it, like how your data integrates with Foundry, where your data comes from. If it's coming from SAP, then they might need to help hold your hand to do that, right? Because at the end of the day, the worst thing that can happen for Palantir is they come in and they say, here's like a copy of Foundry, go ahead and install it yourself. We're not going to help you at all. And then all of a sudden, most of the time, these people that are installing it don't know what they're doing, and then they have to contact Palantir anyway. Instead, they're actually getting ahead of it. They're sending these engineers, they're sending these teams. Now they have certifications, so people can actually certify themselves and do it themselves. But they're doing this as a, like they're trying to mitigate any problems. Do you guys see what I'm saying here? So as they're trying to mitigate these problems, they know that these engineering teams will be involved. So they're getting ahead of it and starting to piece together all the data pieces and stuff so that the onboarding time is much shorter. This happens quite often. There's like a whole cycle. There's a sales cycle, there's a marketing cycle, there's a procurement. And what happens is, by the time it gets to the engineering side, it's a whole bunch of, oh, why don't you meet with us, go out to lunch and do all sorts of stupid stuff that doesn't make any sense. And then you're already in like 2 months, 3 months in and no product and a whole bunch of money wasted. Whereas Palantir is like cutting all the fat and they're saying, okay, let's just get right to the point. We'll send our engineer, he'll install as best as he can, and then we'll sort of work from there. So, I mean, this whole argument of like consulting thing, it needs to die. This is like the whole Tesla as a car company situation. Like, stop, guys. Okay, if you're still making this argument right now, then you either don't understand SaaS, or you don't understand Palantir, or you don't understand what a consulting company is, or what a consultant is, or some combination of the ones I just mentioned. So I'm telling you, I literally am a consultant. I go into enterprises and design bespoke software from like the ground up. Like I write code from scratch for the most part, and deploy infrastructure from scratch. Like the most recent project I did, I migrated 250 projects from a data center over to the cloud. It took like an entire 2-year process. Like this is completely from scratch. This is not something that Palantir would do. It's a different thing altogether, guys. So let's just get that out of there, okay? You're talking like two completely different things, and the people that still talk about this don't actually understand anything. So, you know, call it what it is. But at the end of the day, if you're still making that argument, to be honest, you're kind of stupid. Haven't done much research, or you're just making a point to, you know, spark conversation, in which case is fine. You don't understand and you don't want to learn. At least, you know, you asking this question and somebody actually who knows it, they can explain this to you in a better way. And by the way, if this video explains that to you and gives you that explanation in a better way, feel free to like and share it to somebody, whoever thinks it's a consulting company. That way, at least we can start debunking this myth, you know? Because I just heard this from someone else in the comment section. I'm like, dude, like, why? Come on, man. Like, I mean, just like maybe like an hour worth of research will tell you it's not the case. Palantir is it's a deep tech company. They're trying to provide so much value to their clients that their onboarding process is so small. Just that part, just the onboarding process itself, saved them a ton of money. So let's not get it twisted. Anyway, that's all I got. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Catch you all later. Peace.